Hey everyone, this is Josh, and I am one half of Amazing Fantasy Football. It's just me today. Chris is windsurfing off the coast of Bangladesh or something like that. Well, wherever he is, we wish him the best of luck and safe travels. He'll be back with me for our next episode. This is just going to be me, and we're going to do a little eye on Baker Mayfield today and kind of his fantasy chances and where to kind of look at him for next year. So, and one reason why I chose Baker Mayfield to do today is because one, I live in Iowa, as some of you know, and I don't get to watch a lot of Browns games. They're not usually on regular TV. So I wanted to kind of take a look and see how Baker's doing. And B, there was some grumblings about how Baker kind of looked better without Odell Beckham. I don't really agree with that. I think he actually did a little bit better with Odell. There was certainly I felt like there was a lot less drop passes. I didn't sit there and count every single drop, but maybe I should have. Whatever. Anyways, I wanted to start by reading off Baker's kind of pre-draft bio here. Like, it's just to kind of see where he was at to begin, like his NFL career. So, and I took this bio off of NFL.com to give credit where credit is due, and I'm going to quote the site here. So I quote, "Spread quarterbacks have had limited success, as have small quarterbacks in the NFL. Mayfield falls into both categories and has to prove he can transcend those perceived deficiencies on the next level. Having complete command of the Oklahoma offense is not necessarily an automatic precursor for NFL success, but Mayfield's ability to process, extend plays, and throw with accuracy give him a good shot. He'll be somewhat scheme dependent, so whoever takes him will need to be willing to build their offense around his strengths." End quote. Now I said that because I just kind of, like I said, I wanted to kind of like see where the temperature was on Baker to kind of go into this thing, and so far I feel like that's kind of what he has been. The Browns, John Dorsey and now Andrew Berry, the then and now GMs of the Browns, along with head coach Kevin Stefanski, excuse me, have both kind of done that. I mean, they've given him some weapons with Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham. They got, Austin Hooper, David Njoku for tight ends. They got Kareem Hunt as a pretty decent pass catching back, and Nick Chubb is no slouch at catching the ball either, although he doesn't get a lot of targets. He's more of the runner than the pass catcher. And then they drafted Jedrick Wills in 2020, the NFL draft in the first round. And they also signed Pro Bowler Jack Conklin away from the Titans. So they have given Baker tools to succeed, and he had a pretty good season last season. It wasn't his greatest statistical season. It was only about 62% accuracy. Some of that was kind of bogged down by those monsoon games that everyone probably knows about by now. That's okay. So let's kind of roll into some game film here. I wanted to start with just showing a couple of clips of some Browns misdirection plays. I've seen I've watched a lot of game film on Baker Mayfield, and they tend to do this a lot where they'll have the running back, whether it's Kareem Hunt or Nick Chubb, go off to one way, and then the other way is Baker will roll out and kind of do a little bootleg and then throw the ball downfield. Sometimes he'll take off running too, but it's mainly to throw it to, kind of get him out in the open space and everything, take the pressure off of him, so on and so on. So let's take a look at our first clip here. So in our first clip here, like I said, it looks like Nick Chubb here. They faked that was Kareem Hunt. They faked the ball, and he runs off to the right, where Baker rolls out to the left, and he completes a pass there to Odell Beckham. Really nice play. And this play is the exact opposite, where they fake the run off to the left, and Baker rolls out to the right. So there you go, to fake to the left, rolls out to the right, and completes the pass to Austin Hooper. Really nice play there. Nice. You see that a lot with the Browns. In our next series of clips here, I wanted to kind of show you guys that Baker also has the ability to throw the ball deep. He's not John Elway. He doesn't have like a super monster cannon of an arm, but he can definitely sling the ball a fair ways down the field. He's no Chad Pennington either. If anyone remembers Chad Pennington after his two or three shoulder surgeries that he had, he was throwing a duck out there, just a dead duck flying through the air every time he threw the ball. He was struggling to get it 5 or 10 yards. Honestly, now that I think about it, I'm kind of surprised that Chad Pennington isn't like a coach of some sort in the NFL by now. Maybe he's making the rounds through the college circuit or something. I don't know. I was kind of rooting for Chad Pennington, and then he had all those shoulder injuries, and it never worked out for him in the Jets. Let's move on to our first clip here. In our first clip here, we got Baker bombing the ball deep to Donovan Peoples-Jones, and I just want to do a quick side note on DPJ, as some people call him, is that if the Browns can really harness this dude's potential, he's got such good speed coming out of Michigan that I really think that he could be like a really good, like solid, almost number one for the Browns. And they got him, and if they can do that, they got him as a steal. And I believe he got drafted in the 6th round because he had some problems with kind of little anger management, I think, at Michigan, and he was also calling out the head coaching staff there and everything. He apparently wasn't very happy with some plays or whatever. I'm not super familiar with the entire story, and some of it's probably speculation anyways. There's just some character aspects to DPJ's game, and I think he has a kind of a limited route tree as well. But if the Browns can really get this guy to kind of turn in the corner and really get him going, and I know this is a bit supposed to be about Baker, but there's going to be a couple of Donovan Peoples-Jones plays here coming up, and in a best ball league next year, man, DPJ, that could be a real home run right there. Not to confuse our sports lingo or anything like that. Let's move on to our next clip here. Here we go again in this next clip. Another nice deep throw to DPJ here. Like I said, he's a good player, and I think I have this clip actually in the sense that kind of Baker, not to kind of spoil what's coming up, but Baker kind of threw behind him a little bit, and had he not, DPJ there could have gotten at least another 5-10 yards, if not a touchdown off of that play. He's just that fast. Sorry, I don't mean to keep gushing about this wide receiver, but I've seen there's some potential there. There really is. Let's take a look at our next clip here. Here in this clip, we have yet another play action pass. You'll notice that's kind of a turn with the Browns here, but this time it is Austin Hooper's turn. Just wide open. A nice little throw there to Austin Hooper. In our next play, we have one of those misdirection plays again here, and Baker, in the sense that Baker hands it off to Kareem Hunt, and Hunt goes off to the right. Baker rolls to the left, and he has a beautiful throw to Odell Beckham there for a touchdown. Odell Beckham. Once again, I am not a Browns fan, or not necessarily a Bakers fan or anything like that. I just like good football. I am a Colts fan, as you will come to find out here in a little bit. We have one more clip of deep ball throw here from Baker Mayfield. In this last clip here, we have Rashad Higgins, or as Chris and I like to call him, Riggins, getting a look here for this nice deep pass from Baker. Just a real beaut there, a real beaut, putting it right where only Riggins can catch it. Next up, after that, we have what I'm calling some bad decisions by Baker. And, I know every quarterback has bad decisions, and they're not 100% accurate all the time. Even the best of the best aren't. But these are some real interesting decisions that Baker made. So let's take a look at our first clip. In our first clip here, if you notice off to the left-hand side of the field that Rashard Higgins is running down the side completely open, while Baker tries to force the ball into Jarvis Landry over the middle of the field. Had he hit Riggins, he could have potentially gotten a touchdown there. I just don't understand that at all. I know not everyone sees the field 100% of the time, but it's one of those things. You got to look for the open man, and Riggins was open there. He had a shot at the touchdown. Let's move on to our second clip here. In our second clip, it's a little flip of the script where Baker's trying to force the ball into Riggins, and he should have hit Jarvis Landry. Let's take a look here. He's waiting to snap. He snaps the ball, stares down Riggins, forces it into a covered Riggins, and there is a slight opening there. Slight opening there where Riggins is actually, or I'm sorry, Jarvis Landry is open. We got like what, one more clip here? Yep. In our last clip here, we have Austin Hooper. He does a little, kind of a little bit of a flat route off to the left-hand side, and he's open there. Would he have gotten the touchdown if Baker had completed this to Jarvis Landry? No, but I have a real good feeling that had Baker hit Hooper there, they would have definitely gotten that first down. And what's our next topic here? Our next topic is Baker's pocket presence. He's not an Aaron Rodgers level with pocket presence. You know, Aaron Rodgers is just phenomenal. But he does have a good feel for the pocket, and he knows how to escape out of some tight situations. Not 100% of the time, mind you, but he is pretty darn good in the pocket there. So let's take a look at that. In our first clip here, we have Baker who nearly gets caught by the edge rusher, but he manages to slip out of there and he makes a nice little touchdown throw right here. It's just a beautifully placed ball there. In our second clip here, it looks like Baker almost feels like the pocket collapsing, and he just kind of like gets it. What does he do here? Yep, he steps up in the pocket and just kind of guns it in there. It's really good, really. In our third clip here, we have Baker who once again escapes that edge rusher coming off on his right side, and he manages to kind of slips out there to the right and does a nice little completion, sideline completion there to Jarvis Landry. It was really, really good. I hate to keep repeating myself, but these are some good throws. I mean, they're highlights for a reason. In our last clip here, we have it's almost the identical play where Baker escapes the pass rusher, but instead of throwing the ball, he just does a little scamper off to the sideline, which sometimes is the best thing to do. If you actually look at the play, everyone is kind of covered downfield. Up next, we got some clips where Baker is just holding the ball too long. And usually it's just not seeing an open receiver. And sometimes I think I have a clip here of him just taking a sack because he holds the ball a little too long. Let's move on with our first clip. In this clip, if you watch Riggins, number 82, there's a brief window where he's open and could have had a touchdown, but Baker just holds the ball too long and chucks it to avoid the sack instead of just hitting Riggins. It's a little inexplicable here. In our next play, we have one of those famous Cleveland misdirection plays. And the problem with that, though, is that when Baker rolls out to the left here, he has his back turned towards down the end zone just for a second, and he misses that kind of split second where ODB is open. And had he just kind of like backpedaled a little bit instead of doing that, right there, Oda Beckham is open and just he misses it. He misses it. In our next clip, it appears that Baker Mayfield is just staring down Riggins along the left sideline when Jarvis Landry actually becomes open over the middle. He just doesn't see him, and he ends up holding the ball way too long and just ends up taking a sack here. That's just like right there. Landry open, throws, just takes that sack. Unnecessary, completely unnecessary. In our last clip here, we have Baker who rolls out to the left, and it appears that he's looking at Harrison Bryant there, just wide open in front of him. But he does a little pump fake, like right there, and then he ends up throwing it away. There's no reason to hold on to the ball for that long. He could have just thrown that, got the completion to Harrison Bryant, and been on with the way, been on the way. But it didn't happen. So it's just one of those reasons you gotta keep an eye open on your receivers downfield there, Baker. In our next bit here, I wanted to show off Baker's running ability a little bit. None of these are super long runs, but they're just kind of, once again, making emphasis on Baker's elusiveness and everything. This is a nice little run that Baker pulls off. It almost looks like it might be a little option route that he's running, or that they gave him to run, where he rolls out to the left there, and it looks like he has that option to throw the ball downfield. And I mean, yeah, the guy on the left there is open, but he does a nice little scamper for a first down. No big deal. Good job, Baker. Let's move on to our second and last Baker running play here. And in the second clip here, we have Baker taking off to the left again. It's not the only side that he runs to, by all means, folks. But it's just the two clips I chose for, I don't remember why I chose these clips. But he does a nice little scamper off, a good like 10, 12 yards there. Not a big, not ripping off a nice 50-yard touchdown run like we saw Deshaun Watson do in his rookie season. But still, it's a nice little run there. In our last segment here, I wanted to show that it's just not all sunshines and smiles with Baker, and these throws are a little off, and a couple of them, I believe, end up going for interceptions, just showing that Baker is not 100% accurate. Like you can tell by looking at his stat line of, I think, an NFL career of close to 62.5%, which ain't all that great, folks. Next up, we have Baker going up against my Colts here, and this in this play here, he for some reason just kind of sails the ball over Landry's head. Let's take a look here. Just inexplicably throws it high. It's almost picked off. No reason for that kind of bad throw. He wasn't really under that much pressure. Let's take a look at this next clip here, which I believe is against my Colts again. Yes, it is. And this one, it just, I don't know what he was doing throwing it right there to Bobby Okereke, but he definitely throws it straight to Okereke, and he just jumps, does a little hop, and catches the ball out of midair. I'm not sure if the receiver ran the wrong route or whatever, but regardless, you still got to see that. That was just nowhere near where that ball was supposed to be thrown. And our third clip here, same game, is I believe I showed this clip earlier, which is that pass to Donovan Peoples-Jones. And if you look here, Peoples-Jones has to slow down just a little bit and turn around to catch that ball. Had he not, he might have gotten another 10 yards and maybe even a touchdown. Like I said earlier, he's just that quick. Forgive me, folks, I didn't realize that I used the same clip for two different things, but it shows that a play can be good and bad. Not every play is a black and white sort of thing. Yeah, completed the ball. It was a big game, but it could have been better too. And I'm sure they looked at that after the game as well. Being like, dude, you gotta lead the receiver, not throw behind him. In our last clip here, Baker just kind of inexplicably throws the ball short for another interception. I I say another interception because it's another interception that you see him throwing in this clip or in these sequences here. Look at this. Baker's got a stronger arm than that. There's no reason to throw off your back foot like that, Baker. Anyways, that's been our eye on Baker Mayfield. I hope it to be our first of many off-season videos. We'll kind of see how the off-season goes, but Chris and I want to do some focusing on players or keeping an eye on these players to kind of recap about Baker, like I said, that 2020 wasn't necessarily his best offensive stat-wise season, but he seemed to be throwing the ball rather well. Yeah, he made some mistakes. Like I said, no one's really all that perfect, especially when it comes to something on a professional sport level. Mistakes are going to be made. But Baker has wheels to get you some extra rushing yards here and there in every game. He did average 16 points per game this past season, but like I said at the beginning of this kind of little mini episode, that a lot of his stat lines and his averages were brought down by those 3 monsoon games in the middle of the season that he had to play in. And Baker's just not that great. He's not that elite level quarterback that can make up for bad weather like an Aaron Rodgers or even Tom Brady back in his younger years in those snow games that where he's so infamous for. But Baker definitely has a chance to maybe, if all the cards fall right, he gets a healthy Jarvis Landry and a healthy Odell Beckham next year for a good chunk of the season. I'm saying like 80-90% of the season. He could easily be a top 12 quarterback. Am I going to take him as a top 12 quarterback? No, I'm going to wait and see how like the first the first week or two shake out, and maybe pick him up as a bye week fill-in or something, or even if I'm just kind of doing a quarterback carousel and I'm just streaming quarterbacks. He's a good streaming quarterback. You know what he really is and where he can be drafted is in two quarterback slash super flex leagues. He's a great number two, or maybe even if you're going quarterback heavy very early, a number three quarterback. But if you go with early with Patrick Mahomes, Baker Mayfield's a real solid number two quarterback to have in a two QB league. So that's been our eye on Baker Mayfield. He is not on my draft list, but he is definitely on my watch list. So until our next episode, you can check us out in podcast format at pretty much wherever podcasts are available. If you can, please write us a nice review. If you don't, give us an explanation why you gave us a bad review. Maybe you just don't like our face. Well, that we can't change, but whatever. You can check out Chris's Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/Hardware Dynasty, where he builds PCs and does a little video game in there. You can follow us on Twitter at AmazingFFB7. And you can email us at amazingffb@gmail.com. You can just say, hey, what's up? Give us some constructive criticism. Let us know if you like us. Or you can also ask for an invite to our Discord server. Those will be at the very end of this video as well. But, I really appreciate everyone tuning in to this. And like I said, hopefully it'll be the first of many. Until next time, everyone, please stay safe. Keep wearing a mask. Just a little bit longer. Vaccines are rolling out, people. We're going to make it. I believe that we can. As a country and as the human population, I believe we can make it through this thing. We're almost there, folks. But until next time, stay safe, everyone. Like I said, wear that mask. We appreciate all of you. So just have a good day. Thanks.